So sorry I cut out on you guys earlier. I don't know what happened to interrupt my stream. But here are my scumbag neighbors. Now the greatest gift these people could ever give me is their absence. Yeah, I apologize about losing you guys. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Yeah, they have nice stuff. They live 10 deep in a house. You got to remember, Razor Queen, that nice truck came from somewhere. It came from your taxes. My taxes. All these scumbags get subsidized. So if you want to talk about AI or artificial intelligence or artificial people, this is the artificial intelligence. This is the AI. These are not natural people. They are not organic. They're not precious native brown Indians. Looks like they all left. Now I get to have some quiet this morning. So would you like me to take a little walk and take you guys out on a little stroll and show you my hood? So these guys here, they're within feet of my window, and I have to hear them carrying on at 3 or 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, wherever they come from, whatever they're doing. I got to listen to these guys at 3 in the morning. So we're going to go ahead and take a little walk due to popular demand. We'll do that. You're going to see my little home. Walter Davis says Section 8 sets false floor for rents. Landlords get paid more than it's worth. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry I'm not too good at reading your comments out loud, but I totally get you. And Section 8, yeah, you saw my pitchfork. I sleep with that next to my bed because I'm aware of the type of neighborhood I'm in. And don't think that I would hesitate to use it. This is my little yard. This is my little cactus garden. I don't pay for any of this. I just find bits and pieces of cactuses. And I find the pots and I find everything. And just make these little gardens. So it's a hobby. It sort of keeps me from going insane. I don't really have much of a family to speak of, and I'm losing a lot of friends, but that's okay. I'm not really concerned about being quote-unquote lonely. That's for people who are weak. A lot of good people with hard times going, yeah, I'm okay with Section 8. You know, it's there for those of us who are American citizens It's there for those of us who are veterans or elderly. That safety net was there for us. It's Section 8 was supposed to be a safety net for a few people who need it. Section 8 was not here to grow massive populations of orcs, low IQ, little to no moral people who have a low IQ and no morals. It wasn't meant for those people. Section 8 was meant for American citizens who serve their country or work their whole life paying taxes and had bad times fall on them. I'm okay. I'm perfectly okay with that. Considering the vast quantities of resources that illegal aliens and people from other countries suck up, I am perfectly fine with a few American citizens getting a leg up. It's a drop in the bucket. What we should really be paying attention to is illegal immigration and legal immigration. Because legal immigration is worse in many ways than illegal immigration. So much worse. Because they're given affirmative action, they're given jobs, they're given special treatment over people that were born and raised here. They're given special treatment over people that have worked their whole lives in America, paying their taxes, being good American citizens. And they're not even from America. I mean, I could go out to some convenience store out in the middle of East County, San Diego, Campo, and it's just packed with Middle Eastern trash. So there's literally nowhere I can go without seeing a Mexican or a Muslim or some other non-desirable. And I very much appreciate the fact that I have two people joining me on my walk. The street that I'm on right here is called Scimitar. Funny, huh? The Islamic sword. So again, I apologize for the poor quality of my videos, but hopefully you guys can at least have a glimpse into my world. And hopefully you're enjoying this. Razor Queen says it's a lonely, narrow road for many of us these days. Yep, that's right. The truth is not popular. Truth is not going to make you happy. It's definitely hasn't made me happy. It definitely hasn't helped my sanity to know what's really happening here in San Diego. Who these people are and what they're doing and why has not added any joy or peace to my life. I'll give you that much. But I guess maybe I'm a sicko. This is looking out over San Diego. And if you can see, there's two islands just offshore that we can't see. They're owned by Mexico. I'm overlooking a field or a canyon. Razor Queen, definitely no joy or peace in the truth. 5 people I know lost their homes in paradise. That's insane. 5 people. Please, anybody who's watching my videos, share it with your friends, and I'd also greatly appreciate it if you left comments in the comment section. Anything, any comment that you wish to leave is more than welcome. Because I would like to remain informed, Razor Queen, about your friends in paradise. What they went through, and if they're being helped. All space laser theories aside, I would really like their take on it. So this is the view, and it's a nice place. I'm very fortunate to have wound up here, believe it or not. This neighborhood is called Encanto, which means enchanted in Spanish. And it is a beautiful, it's beautiful land. It's beautiful territory. It's beautiful climate. We have some of the rarest ecosystems here in the world. There's creatures and plants in San Diego that literally don't exist anywhere else in the world. And yet, as thrashed as San Diego's environment is, we're the hallmark a lot, or the hub of a lot of these environmental movements, etc., etc. And I'm just walking around in this little field. I'm just showing you kind of where I like to come out in the morning and have my coffee. Because more often than not, I wake up and I got to listen to those scumbags running their mouths. So I come out here just to get away from their ugliness, their ugly language, their ugly voices. I just come out here and what I like to do is I like to walk around in this field and look for stones or bits of glass or various other items that have been left here over the years. And I'll show you guys something kind of special. You'll see this all throughout San Diego. It's kind of a form of stonemasonry. They use round river rocks and concrete, glass bottles. This is old school. They used a lot of this around the turn of the century. And let me try to find this right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's an old pipe, an old clay pipe. And right here is some of that old masonry. If you can see that, the stones. And they also put in glass bottles. So here's more of that old masonry with the glass bottles and the stones. So if you know where to look throughout San Diego, you'll find all kinds of history. Yeah, it's trash. Here's an old fence post. It's probably been here for close to 100 years. I recently took a nail out of here that was a square head nail. You can see right there this old square headed bolt. Old fence. Probably been here 100 years. I'll show you another little historical mark. Right here on the corner. This little surveyor's mark. City Engineering, Department of San Diego. Razor Queen says my home was built in 1939 and I'm still finding cool little mysteries. Oh, that's awesome. Well, so here we are. This is where I live. I just walk around here in the morning and have a cup of coffee, stretch my legs, get some fresh air. And when the sun's coming up, you can, or right after it's rained, all these little things I like to find, glass, marbles, little bits of jewelry, sometimes even coins. All these things are more visible after they've been washed clean by the rain. Or when the sun is setting or rising and it's striking these things at a certain angle is a good time to go out and find things. Yeah, there's that's interesting that you mentioned that, Razor Queen. There's a lot of history even around this area where I'm at. Supposedly, there's some trenches here where the military used to train. There's spots in San Diego that have tunnels, of course. And again, I'm trying not to trip over my own feet while I'm giving you guys a little tour of my hilltop. This is an interesting place because there's always something new. There's always something going on here. But yeah, we'll often come out in the morning just so I don't have to hear my neighbors and their disgusting mouths. Maybe Razor Queen says, yeah, you're right at the border where there's lots of old missions and war history remains. That's right. There's a lot of history here, and we're going through yet again more historic times. This is where the gang members come and mark their territory. And here's more of the stonemasonry. That round stone and concrete that was prevalent in San Diego back in the day. I personally think it's beautiful. And here's a stoneway. Here's a walkway, if you will. And I'm walking up. And here's two fence posts that have probably been here for almost 100 years. Right there. You can see how old that wood is. Here in Nalcal, there's still tons of gold in the foothills and mountains. Yep. It sure would be nice to go up to Northern California and harvest some of that gold. I love Northern California. I think I like Northern California even more so than Southern California. And hopefully I can save up my money and move out of Southern California, because I'm a disabled vet and I'm living on a micro pension. So my means and income are pretty limited for the time being, but I'm also a man of faith, and I know that if I keep plugging away, things will change. I don't think I can save California, but I can certainly save myself. Yep. Razor Queen says, yeah, NorCal is a very special place historically and geographically. One of my favorite areas in Northern California is Mendocino, around Laytonville, and especially the Golden Triangle where they grow all the weed. It's just beautiful out there because you have this mix of oak and manzanita and madrone, and you also have the redwoods in Northern California. So you have that mix, and that's what I like. See how ancient these old fence posts are? I'll just put my hand here to give you an idea how massive they are. But this was probably a walkway at some point, and you can see the two posts side by side, just wide enough for somebody to walk through, and now they're overgrown, of course, by this jade. And another thing is that I think is interesting about this jade is it often forms a symbiotic relationship with the eucalyptus. The jade likes to grow in shade, and the eucalyptus likes to have something secure its roots. So you'll see here in California, you'll see a lot of eucalyptus, and then with this jade underneath it. You just see these plants do not come from California, but they have found each other and formed a relationship. See more gang graffiti. And this wall used to not change all the time, but now they're changing the graffiti on it all the time. So it means they're pretty active. I remember when the graffiti on this wall was the same for years, and now it's been changing all the time, so something's happening. Hopefully you guys are getting a good enough view. And these piles of dirt, they just arrived here not too long ago. Razor Queen says the Bohemian clubbers love the redwoods too. They meet there every summer and give praise to Moloch. Notice how... Oh, absolutely. With the good comes the bad. And that's as much as I love Northern California, there's a lot of bad up there too. But again, I would rather be out in the sticks. I'd rather be out in the forests or the remote areas than these big cities. Because at heart, I'm a country guy. The city's just great on my nerves. They're just noisy. Too many scumbags. Yeah, that's right, Fred Knight. City life is horrible. It's got its perks, but overall, it's just a big pain in the ass. But some of us have to earn our shekels. Some of us have obligations and things we're tied to. Razor Queen says, I worked for a guy who belonged to SFO Bohemian Club before I knew what any of it was. I quit because he was a very nasty person. Yep. That's the funny thing about people and friends, is that you often don't know who they are, even if you've known them for a while. So you give them your trust. Fred Knott says, I've always been in the boonies. Well, good for you, Fred Knott. I personally can't wait to return to the boonies, where I belong. And again, if I had a little better camera and it wasn't so foggy, you'd see the islands that are owned by Mexico. So where do you reside now, Razor Queen? I mean, without doxing yourself, just generally speaking, where do you live? I think everybody, Citrus Heights. Okay, outside of the Sac. All right. Sacramento is a horrible place. Hopefully Citrus Heights is nicer. Sacramento in the summer is just miserable. The air quality there is just atrocious. A lot of that has to do with the agriculture, of course, and the way all that hot, stagnant air gets trapped in the Central Valley. Ugh. So which way am I going to take? So lately somebody's been working on their property and they just see fit to just dump all these piles of earth out here in the field. So what are you getting sprayed with, Razor Queen? Pesticides, chemtrails? I mean, what are you guys not getting sprayed with is the question. Fred Knott, never been to Cali in my life. Where are you from, Fred Knott? I mean, what state are you in? And let me tell you guys something. I love California. Pennsylvania, huh? Anybody who lives in America and considers themselves an American should at least come to California. Just as I made it a point to go to the East Coast and check it out. I'll go to any state in America. I'll go to any country in the world because I'm a travel junkie. I love traveling to different places. If you see my other videos, those are all footage I have taken, and I will continue to make it a point to do all my own material, original stuff. SSA's strategic atmosphere aerosol injections, aka chemtrails. Yep. The real question is what are they not doing to us? Even if they're not purposefully spraying us with chemicals, the fact is it is pollution. And Fred Knott says he's been as far as Colorado, but as far as, okay, Colorado is as far west as you've been. Well, okay. Again, my point is that I like to see stuff for myself. Another country, another city, another state. It doesn't matter. I'll go there and check it out. Because it's just good to travel and see other things. Hell, I'll even go to a Muslim country just to see it for myself. That's how I am. I'll go anywhere. I will go literally anywhere. And thank you, Fred Knott. See, what a lot of people do is they make the mistake of believing that California is all a shithole. When the reality is that most of the state is actually uninhabited. It's really the cities and the towns that have been affected the most. That's where you see a lot of the filth and the degeneracy and the invasion is in the cities. But if you go out to the country, you'll see that God's still in charge. You'll see that the earth is still a beautiful place. And you'll also understand, if you're a country person, why I don't like the city. It's just, you just got to get out of its constant rubbing and its constant in-your-face crap. It helps just to get out of it. You're not hearing scumbag neighbors. You're not listening to rap music or any of that garbage. And Fred Knott says, I'd love to see Cali for sure. California is a beautiful place. We have amazing stuff here in California. I could take people to places in California that would blow their minds. The Redwood Forests, Joshua Tree National Park, on and on. California is a spectacular state. It's just, what's tragic is what's been done to the land and to the people. And quite frankly, it's not really our fault per se. So many people wish death to Cali. Yeah, they all think Cali is all Hollywood and we're all Illuminati, MK beta kittens. Yep. They don't understand what's going on because they haven't lived here. A lot of people live in these Midwestern states or some small town and they've never been outside of their own state or their own town. They don't realize how cosmopolitan California is. They have a very narrow perspective. And that's why I implore everyone to come out here and see it for yourselves. And then come up with your own conclusions. Because then you'll see that there are a lot of good people out here, and we never voted for this. We never asked for it. Just as we didn't ask for this any more than the Germans or the English or any of these other poor Europeans asked for bombs getting dropped on their heads. This is all done underneath our noses. This is all done behind our backs. You know, the Hart-Celler Act of 1965, for example, is a perfect example of how we trade. Yeah, Jesuit Jerry Brown, you know, our instrument of globalization. This is their view of, this is their idea of paradise, a big hodgepodge of third world turds flooding into our country. Middle Eastern trash, African trash, Asian trash, Mexican trash, Latin American trash. Just millions upon millions of third world parasites flooding into our country and living on welfare. Like my neighbors. So I'm just doing this as a little experiment to see who would come out here and join me on a morning walk. And listen to me go on a bit of a tear about the scum that has taken over California. And take a little walk to my neighbor's house. This is what's called urban decay, folks. It's hard to believe that people want to come here and spend $500,000 to live in a McMansion. It's hard to believe that not too long ago, people could actually buy a home for the price of an SUV. But now we're going to pay through our noses to live next to Mexican scumbags. So this right here is the crackheads that used to live here. They're no longer here. They moved out, thank God. And it's been a blessing for my neighborhood that these people are now gone. AKA the lovely crackheads. I should have videotaped this when they were here, but I didn't want to get shot, so if Trump really wanted the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Agreement, he could use his power as commander-in-chief to stop states from signing it. Trump actually partakes, but yeah, it's called tacit approval, Razor Queen. I don't know what the hell is going on when Jerry Brown signs these agreements. I call it treason. What the hell is Jerry Brown doing in Paris? What are any of these state and local governments doing in Paris? Just like our Lord and Savior, Mayor Kuckner as I like to call him, ran off to Somalia and played patty cakes with the Somalians. What the hell is he doing in Africa? Kuckner is mayor of San Diego. He has no business in Africa. Except to bring a bunch of them in here. So that's the crackhead house. Now they're gone, thank God. I'm gonna walk back up here. This is just to give everybody a window. Yep, it's bizarre to see three Jesuits, Brown, Newsom, and Trump. Yep. Is it bizarre? That's the question. I mean, to us it's bizarre, but to them it's just how things should be. Right? And hopefully I'm not interrupting. I mean, hopefully I'm not cutting in and out too much. But this is Scimitar Drive. A Muslim sword. I mean, yeah, Razor Queen, I agree. It is bizarre to us because we're always just floundering around wondering why things are happening. Why is this happening? Why are they doing this to us? But to the people that are doing it, this is just par for the course. Right now yeah, Shriners. That's right. Razor Queen, I'd like you to watch my video. Scroll down and watch some of my other videos when I was hanging out with those folks. Not even knowing who they were. I was just a young, naive guy. Here we are. Back on top of the hill. And you can see that my neighbors aren't home, thank God. This is their house. And that's mine. That little house off to the right here, well, they hear this shit even worse than I do. Right there. They like to roll in 10 deep, 3 in the morning. Their little parties and their whatever they're doing, 3 in the morning. Yeah, it's a nice spot. I'm trying to get into my gate. Like I said, I'm very blessed to be here. If I can open my gate, I'll have to go around. This is where I like to come out and visit the hummingbirds in the morning. So now I've been on a tear now for 40 odd minutes. You see that right there? See that yellow vest? I found that at the park. That God was giving me a sign. I found that yellow vest and that blue helmet. So I didn't have to pay for any of that. I found it. So God dropped me a sign. So I got to scrub it off. I mean, it looks like somebody actually wiped their butt with it. So I got to scrub the poop off of it. Did Elon Musk just showcase his first underground Tesla tunnel in SoCal? You guys have a lot of underground tunnels there too. That is something I don't know anything about. I'll have to look into it. And I have no doubt in my head that there are tunnels between America and Mexico that our governments, Mexico and America, these governments use. Here's my cactus garden. Give you guys something interesting to look at while I'm walking around my yard. Sort of on another unrelated topic, I've been noticing all kinds of new creatures, new insects, new lizards, stuff that you normally don't see in the Audubon. For example, Look at that spider web. Ever seen anything quite like that? That spider. Isn't that a crazy looking spider? If I had a better camera, I could show you how fascinating these webs are, because they're not like anything I've ever seen. So I think that the world is changing, life is changing, Earth is changing. It always has been changing. I mean, climate change, come on. That's supposed to happen. If we didn't have volcanoes and earthquakes and climate changing and weather patterns, we wouldn't have life. Everything would stagnate. So I think that life is changing. Life is being created. And life isn't evolving. Life was never a static, unchanging, permanent thing. It never has been and it never will be. So if they're finding new species, well, it could be perhaps because new species are always evolving, coming into existence. See, look at those webs. They have a web that they hide in, or that they turn into a house, and then they have another web that they use to catch their prey. So again, if I had a better camera, I could show you how intricate these webs are. So again, this is just an experiment to see who comes out and talks. And thank you for joining me this morning. Any comments are greatly appreciated. I agree. I can certainly say that my sorrows have begun. And I keep hearing rumors that it's only going to get worse. Here's my cobra chili pepper. I've had this cobra chili pepper for, I think, at least 6 years now. My cactus garden. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My little world. It's another little hobby of mine. Is just everything here are just simply objects that I found. I go for a walk, I pick up a few things, and over time these things accumulate. You have a nice little garden there. Will probably help you a lot. Yeah. It's my little bitty backyard. With some junk laying around, of course. And again, thank you for joining me. And don't be shy to leave comments. They're greatly appreciated. So I'm coming up now on an hour. So unless anybody's got anything to say, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Right before I sign off, maybe I can show you guys one of my little buddies. Tell me before I sign off if you can hear that. So those are the hummingbirds that live around here. They say that they're the reincarnated spirits of Aztec warriors. They're amongst my favorite birds. Oh, by the way, we have hawks, we have owls, doves, hummingbirds, and ravens. All sorts of animals live out here. Even coyotes. Thank you, Razor Queen. Yeah, they're my favorites. And this is a guava tree. So again, thank you for joining me. It's a nice quiet day today, thank God. And those neighbors, the greatest gift they could ever give me is their absence. One day I'd love to wake up and look out my window and just not see their ugly faces or listen to their ugly voices or their disgusting Mexican music. One day I just want to wake up and just hear the peace of a forest or a mountain and just not see any of them or hear them. Maybe we can all pray to God. They'll all just pack their shit and go back home. Go back home to Mexico.